Okay, this is something I don't normally do on a Saturday, but with breaking news from a recent source, with some changes going on in America under Joe Biden and some amendments to mortgages, especially with people who've got good mortgage credit and the impact a recent ruling is going to have. Now, it's all centered around this one thing called the central bank digital currency. If you don't know, these are digital tokens similar to sort of cryptocurrency, but they're issued by a central bank. Well, the central bank we're talking about in this case is the federal bank in America. And they're initiating all the moves at the moment, and Britain's not far in following the strategies and policies they're adopting at the moment. But in effect, the assets of the dollar, which is the world currency at the moment, now becomes a liability under this new system, which they're bringing into place in a rapid kind of way. So, as you know, the Fed itself, it's impossible for it to go bust. And so, with Freddie, who represents this side of our argument, he'll sort of find that he's now going to be responsible for every dollar there is on the planet as a result of this central bank digital currency taking place. So it means knowing that these liabilities are now being moved over to the Fed, there's likelihood that individuals who are busy, which is 99.9%, who don't really understand what's going on, will be fearful of the banks being bailed in, if they collapse for some reason and they find their hard-earned money and stuff is at risk, will be tempted to change banks and probably adopt a bank account issued by the Fed. So now, all of a sudden, coming from about, I don't know how many banks, probably 100 banks or so, uh, down to about probably one major one within 5 years as a result of the fear factor that's going to be kicking in anyway under banking and forcing individuals to follow each other like sheep, which will take on banks' accounts with the Fed, who have obviously got unlimited liability, but end up controlling their lives anyway with carbon footprints and all that stuff in less than 5 years from now. So the simplest thing you can do is simply turn your assets into physical gold and physical silver. Don't leave them in a storage with the bank. Find safety deposit banks that and safety deposit units that you trust completely 100%, because nobody knows exactly how this is all going to work out, which banks are going to be impacted. Nobody knows the black swan event, how it's going to affect the stock market as well, and the speed at which all this can happen. And if you're all running for the same place at the same time, people get trampled and killed in the process. So take action now and think about physical silver, physical gold, and protect yourself against the craziness that's upon us right now. So that's the end of today's emergency message from Banksy and Freddie.